Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. How's everybody doing? God, everybody's nice and early. Well done to you guys. Let's have a look. Let me move all my stuff around on my screen. What's up, Milo? What's up, CC? What's up, Lauren? Gaming. Red's here. Dover's here. Nephilim. What's up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? What's good? What's good? Whoa. What's up, Jesse? How you doing? Good to see you. What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up? Let's get straight into it. Should we turn this music down just a smidge? Let's bring that down just a little bit. And we will go live. What's up? You said my name correct. Already off to a winner. Already off to a winner. What's up, everybody? Those settings don't look quite right to me. Let's just quickly have a look. Yeah, that's right. And then let's bring this up. Yeah, that looks about right. Shadow too dark, but we'll deal with it. We'll live with it. That'll do. What's up, everybody? Yes, guys, please don't forget to like the video. Last week we hit what, 51 new high score. So hopefully we can beat that today. Although I'm not sure how long of a stream today is going to be because I've only got the one idea. But we'll see how it goes. Last week, if you were here, you would have seen a mountain and Milky Way. Hang on, whoa. Let's just back up. Let's just back up for just 2 seconds. Let's just calm down. You know, we've only just started, and Troy's the edition 10 gifted memberships. Daddy Troy, everybody give Daddy Troy a massive round of applause in the chat for looking after everybody. If you have received a membership, please be sure to thank Troy in the chat. Troy, you're a hero, week in, week out, my friend. And you said hello. Hope you are all well. Hope you are well. Oh, he's not even talking to any of you, he's talking to me. Troy, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for looking after everybody. And I'm very good. I'm very good, actually. I'm very good. Look at that. 10 gifted memberships. We only just started. And we're nearly at 10 likes. Come on, guys. Come on. This is a belter. I think we should just constantly match the likes to like gifted memberships. I think that's just going to have to be like a rule from now on. Sorry, guys. It's just going to have to be put in place from right now. So, as I was saying before, Troy obviously so rudely interrupted me. Last week I drew a mountain set with a sort of Milky Way galaxy in the background as well. And I want to do something a little bit similar to that today. Except I had this idea of obviously just doing an iris instead. I know eyes are very popular on like Procreate and stuff, so I think this will be a bit of a belter to be doing. So yeah, and it'll be a little bit simple. I'm in our room with a few details that I'm not too sure if I want to do, but this is the one I kind of mocked up earlier. There's a few things in there that I don't like, but this is what always happens before I come onto a live stream. Most of the time I have some sort of idea as to what I'm going to draw, and then as and when we come onto the live stream, I'll refine a lot further. So this is always the part of the journey. God, we got a lot of bronze badges in the chat at the minute. A lot of bronze badges. Should we have a quick look to see who is where with their badges? Apologies if this slows the stream down for just a second. Let's have a look. Because Troy is just dishing them out left, right. People should like be nearly gold by now. Super memberships. Okay, view your members. Total time as a member. Cat is still out in front at 20 months. So Cat is just 4 months off being the first gold member. Dobby is just in behind with a month. And then we have David, Kim, Marie, Lillian, Donna, Elizabeth, Troy, Visual, Special Effects 1000, all silver members, and then an absolute ton of bronze members. So if you don't already know, guys, and if you're just hanging out with us for a change, if you get a gifted membership, or you can purchase a membership, it's totally up to you. It's like 99 pence a month. It's optional. You get a little badge beside your name, and that badge changes color over time. So it changes from my normal typical logo colors of the purple and blue into red and orange, and then it makes its way through from there to green and yellow, and then you move into these sort of metals, where you move into bronze, silver, and then into gold, and then finally, for the people that have been here, I think it's for I think it might be 3 years. There's like a rainbow coloured one, which is just like top tier. You can't. I could make another one after that, but I'll probably leave it at that. So yeah, it's fun, good fun. Right, should we do some work? So I've basically searched iris photography on Google. It's fascinating. I actually follow a guy on TikTok who does it. He takes photos of strangers' eyes, and they're just amazing. So much detail. It's just crazy how much, if you actually get such a macro lens in on your eye, how sort of wildly detailed it actually is. Okay, let's roll with that one and let's crack on. You'll notice also there's like this little effect here where I'm trying to also convince that it is an eye, and there's like a little bit of a reflection on the top here, and that's the eyelashes as well. I actually saw Flo do that once upon a time, so that was a little bit inspired by that. Right, let's first of all just sketch in some circles. I think that's probably my best bet, so I don't run out of place, and make sure that things are going to be nice and tidy. And I'll tell you what, I'll actually put it on top of this one for a second. So I'll draw in a circle here in the middle, put my finger on the screen, let's just scale that down, try and get it a little bit more central. That's fine. I know it's a little bit off. Let's create another one, and it's gonna have to be obviously as wide as the canvas or the iris fully. Let's just drop it to there and then scale it around once we get to the right position. So once we get to it just doesn't want to settle. It doesn't matter anyway, it's just a sketch. That's fine. And then we'll just sort of crop off the bottom here and crop off the top up there as well. So just like a little crop off just across here. Maybe I'll provide this as a guide. I like providing these guides at the minute in my tutorials, because I feel like I've tried to sort of explain why I provide them, and it's like, you know, I drew it in my own time and I liked it, so I want to replicate the shapes and everything else that I drew. You know, I don't want it to look different just because it's another tutorial or a tutorial, you know. Right, I've got my little guide. Let's start cracking on with some bit of background color, and again it's just using the nebula brush, which we're just going to use lots of different sizes of to create some fun content. I'm probably aiming this one to maybe be on YouTube. I think I'm not too sure yet, so just keep an eye on the socials. Blue Bear thanking Troy for the membership. These colors are gorgeous. I appreciate it. Nice little color match to a couple of photos. Thank you, Milo. You love the illustration. I appreciate it. What's up, Medic? Focus. Yes, if we can drop a like on the video, please be sure to keep me updated with the total that we're at. Okay, so the first thing I did was just draw in some basic light color and just build it up and just drift outwards. Building up around that point and then just being super light with my color. It's actually pretty hard to tell with this light on the side of my face. Can we turn that off? Are you happy with that for a minute? Yes, let's just roll with that. You'll be all right. So just going to keep this super, super light. Get the colour in around the outside edge. Now I think my other one was actually probably a little bit lighter than this, so I may have to revise that as a whole. We have to keep it super, super light at the start. You can barely see it on your screen, but I can see a few things that I don't like there. I know, actually looking at my initial one, it's actually not that bad. All right, no stress, no stress. Meditangs is casting to my TV, so I have to skip on. Chat. Saying thanks now for the immersion into the process. Oh, cool. You can actually keep up with the chat. I was literally just watching one of my favorite streamers on YouTube, and if you cast it, you can still keep the chat open on your phone. Optional, if you want to do that. Let's stay on this layer for a second and just see if I can just punch out a little bit more in the center here. Just getting the sort of center point a little bit brighter. The wonderful thing with this brush is it changes its color a little bit as it makes its way around. You get some greens in there, you get some beautiful blues. You can, that's actually probably a little bit too dark. Sorry, I'm actually battling a little bit with trying to see it myself. Let's crank this up a little bit so you can see. Probably one stop down, that's probably bang on what I can see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Sorry. It's like my first time doing this stuff. Okay, cool. That's like a nice basic foundation to build off of. Run it to the edges. I want it to run underneath that little bit there. And then on the edges, I'm just sort of scattering in some purple. Trying to bring some extra colour around those edges. This area over here, I'm not the biggest fan of. I'm going to see if I can actually get away with just using like a soft airbrush, erase it and blend it back in like really lightly there, and then just try and go again. Whoop. Very lightly just blend that back in. Okay, I think I might have just got away with that. Whoa. I don't mind a couple of like dark grooves here and there, but occasionally you want to make sure that you have like a good fade out. So it's like you're picking and choosing what you do and do not want, you know. Verinda says, I have tried so many of your tutorials, have been loving all of them. Thanks for making the process so detailed and easy to follow. You are very, very welcome. I appreciate you dropping in and sharing some love in the chat. I really do. Okay, let's go to another new layer. Let's change this bad boy to add. Let's then take a look at my next layer that I made. Okay, cool. So I ended up dropping in a little bit more sporadic color here and there and a couple of line work. Cool. So basically, every time I do something, I always take screenshots of it. So I'm looking over on the side there at my screenshots and just seeing what sort of how I built this eye up to the one that you saw at the very beginning. And I want to also, if I can actually potentially just share to you what I'm going to try and somewhat replicate a little bit. Let me just cast my screen. Oh, not cast my screen. Copy. Well, that actually wouldn't be a bad idea actually at some point for me to show you guys my screen in the stream. It's probably a good idea. Guys, if you're here hanging out, please drop a like down below. I'd greatly appreciate it. What on earth? Okay, this is what I'm looking at. Just as another concept as well, because this iris photo here is actually some sort of Facebook page. Just look at the construction of the eye. It's almost like a volcano in a way of it, how it raises from the outside up towards these. Look at these grooves and the deep cuts of them and all the threads of your eye. It's crazy how much actually is in there. And then this one in particular has this really large, sort of quite fluffy looking orange center. My eyes actually have a bit of an orangey brown, orange through to like a brown, and then end with like a bit of hazily green as well. So I've got quite a few different colors in here, but the blue and the warm tones look amazing. They just look so nice together. So all of these kind of dark grooves, I'm going to also try and replicate as well. So we'll see what we can come up with like what I'm going to call like some of the threading, I guess, of the eye. So at the minute, it's just a matter of now just planting in some brighter areas. Is this set to add? It is set to add. Wicked. Bit of a quiet week this week, really, for the old content-wise, because it's one of those weeks, and it actually causes me a bit of like anxiety a little bit in the sense that my content-wise, I am, I've got a tutorial coming out on Tuesday for Patreon, and then there's no content kind of all week. When we have a double sort of week where we have like content coming out on Patreon as well as content coming out on YouTube, it feels like the whole week is so much more full. But when it's one of these weeks where it really is just kind of quiet, I'm like, God, I hope I don't fall off the face of the earth in terms of people remembering who I am. Not who I am, but the content, Okay, that's cool. And then on this same layer, I'm going to get in here and just create all of these grooves. You could do a radial blur, a radial symmetry line here. I really don't want to. I don't want to have any element of repetition. One side repeating quite obviously to the other side. Sometimes a radial sort of drawing guide is very handy, but if you can see it, it's really hard to unsee, and especially as the person drawing it, you're kind of a little bit like, wow, that is just like a mistake almost, Blue Bear says, yes, try not to forget who you are. So, Shiley, how are you doing? You are a busy bee at the minute with the old Procreate. You also became a superstar supporter over on Patreon as well. So you got that lovely early access to the next Patreon tutorial as well. So make sure to scroll back in your Patreon feed and you'll be able to get back to that. And Patreon actually released a new update, and I've not yet decided what I'm going to do, but it has provided the option for your tiers over there. So my tiers are supporter, super supporter, and superstar supporter, and Hall of Fame member, which is still a 0 capacity club, for a free trial of Patreon tiers. So if I choose to do it, people could get a free trial of the tiers. I've seen other creators already turn it on, some being like Tatty and Flo, and I've seen a lot of them go for it already. I'm in an R about it, to be honest. I feel like if my tiers were set up in different ways, then maybe it would make more sense. But I'd be literally just giving someone access to all my content for a week, but for like all 70 tutorials. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll set up a new tier and it's like, you get one tutorial or something. I don't know. Can you see all the grooves that I'm trying to make here now? I'm trying to join some of the lines together, create some nice grooves in the eye. I'm trying to make some like a little bit lower, some a little bit closer to the center. Just creating these lovely little trails and grooves. This is something I didn't do as much of in my first drawing of this, so I will have to potentially implement it into the tutorial if I like it. It's lovely. And I'm just creating like little arcs that just join a few of the lines together. Shiley said, maybe just set up a freebie tier. Yeah, that's the thing. I've got to really sort of think about it and whether or not I'm happy. I mean, I like my Patreon as it is, so I'm sort of umming and ahhing about it because, you know, there's sort of evidence to say, you know, it could be very beneficial. You know, people that like it would then stay, stuff like that. But, you know, kind of umming and ahhing about it a little bit. Umming and ahhing. I'm sure some people would love to have a free trial of it. My concern then is also, like, would people be able to set up, like, you know, numerous accounts and just continue, you know, to join multiple times and stuff, you know, all these sorts of things. Shiley says, I have my eye on it, but the conversion rate to AUD. Oh, no, listen. Oh, you're talking about the Hall of Fame tier. You do not have to, there's no other benefits to you. I tell you what, that tier is simply set up because I had a conversation with a jeweler, and he has a Patreon account. And, you know, he was saying, you know, some people simply just want to support you. And I've spoken to other creators as well that are just like, you know, listen, all we want to do is support you. Sometimes it doesn't matter. And that's all that tier has been set up for. It's just people that may or may not want to do it. But I am really, you know, I'd much rather people be happy and extremely comfortable with the amount of money that they are, like, they call it pledging over there, but, you know, what your tier is and how much money you're sort of committed to, sort of, you know, to the content in a way. I'd much rather see people just stay happy with that. So please, you know, I feel, you know, it's extremely grateful of people should they ever want to do that, but it's simply there just, you know, as a one extra tier above. But sadly, there's no extra benefits to it at this stage anyway. There may be in the future, but right now there isn't. I cannot cannot seem to get any more time at the minute to even consider, you know, additional content at this stage. And the only thing I don't like about what I'm doing so far is it's very soft. Kind of need to be a bit more aggressive with it, you know. Roro says, or a free trial tier. Yep. It'd be easy to download the vids, I think. Jay says, jumped on here to say hi and thanks for the gift. Got you on the telly at the mo so I can hear till I can sit. Oh, sorry. So I can hear. I can sit and watch. Yes, I know, Milo. You are absolutely right. My Patreon does have quite a few benefits to it and quite a lot of content that you get. So I'm aware of sort of you know, I'm definitely aware of that it's good and there's a lot of content there and it's packed in and stuff. So it's all good. It's all good. I don't feel I've got to change anything. You know, I'm very pleased with my Patreon. Very pleased. It's very comfortable, and since I dropped the Joel Designs channel, it has, you know, really helped me sort of mentally be happy with juggling all this stuff. Because to let you in on a little sort of insider sort of stuff, I've always had this idea of and wanting to set up a company to manage people's social media accounts for them. You know, whether, you know, whatever sort of industry they're in, it doesn't technically matter. But through people I know and stuff like that, I managed to already get a you could say the first client on board. So I'm currently sort of also managing their social media for them, creating a lot of content. They run a podcast, and it's very cool. It's very fun. It's a lot of like stuff that I really enjoy doing, but also it's a, you know, it's a little bit of an additional workload, you know. What's set to add? But it's good and it's great, and it's just something I've kind of thought about doing for a little while, you know. So it's great that it's, you know, somehow managed to just about sort of kick off a little bit. So that's been good fun. So yeah, what I was getting at there is just like time in the background, you know. So I also have my full-time job as well, so yeah, and also need time to, you know, relax at the same time. So going back to the initial point, I'm very pleased with how my Patreon is set up. It gives me a lot of nice flexibility. I get kind of 1 week off a month of not having to create a video, and the way that helps me as well, because I'm like 5 videos ahead now, so it means that I can, you know, take a a week off and just have to create one video like this week. This isn't going the same as it did last time. And I'm wondering whether or not it's the base layer is too bright. If we drop this to like 75%, let's try that instead, because it feels like the center had got a little bit too bright. And then where does it go from there? We then get into finer details and then extra lighting and then fine details again. Okay, wow, okay. So over here, I need to be way more active in these edges over here. Rob says, oh my God, I need someone to manage my social media. So desperate. Meta can do my head in. Listen, if you're serious, just let me know. There's lots I really enjoy content creation. And I listen to podcasts all the time from all sorts of different industries. And as you may know, I was interviewed on the YouTube Creators Hub podcast last year. And, you know, I listen to that stuff all the time and I love content creation. I love it. It's so fun. It's like all the strategy involved and things like that. So, yeah, for me, it's fun because I get to kind of do it on behalf of somebody else in their sort of industry and space, and just see how I can help them grow. You know, I've got loads of ideas and also loads of knowledge in just the 2 years of, well, 2.5 years now of doing the Joel Create channel. There's lots of stuff that I can, you know, give to a lot of companies, and it's great fun. It's great fun, and I hope that it can maybe be something that continues to grow. But at the same time, I want to grow their accounts. You know, I want to grow their accounts. It's fun growing an account. Yes, please drop a like on the video. What are we up to? What are we up to? Do we know? I actually can't see that now. Uh, 16 likes. So we hit 51 last week, I believe. So if you can like the video, that'd be awesome. That'd be absolutely awesome. Okay, so we went from that to that, and I've kind of already jumped ahead of that a little bit, really. I'm looking at the side over here at like my initial designs of this earlier, so I'm just trying to just see where I need to maybe change some of this design to match up to the initial version. It's looking good so far and I like it. Let's just move to the next tier, which is yet another layer. I can probably turn off the guide now as well. Another layer, set that bad boy to add, and we start to get into some finer details now. So about 1 or 2%, and we can just probably way smaller than that, probably about 1%. Blue best sort of like that. It can really take over your day, can it? Do you know what though? Just to jump in on that conversation between you, content creation really can take up time, a lot of time. That is why I think, you know, a lot of people kind of don't want to do it, and why I think there's a market for me to do it. You know, it can take a lot, and you know the way I've got it set up with the podcast that I'm doing, they don't have to do anything. They record their content and I do everything else. All they've got to do is obviously send me the content and stuff like that. And in the initial stages, there was a few things that they had to do, but it's now got to the point where they literally just record their content and I do the rest. And it's great. It's great for them. They get to sort of sit back, have it taken care of. I get to do my thing and they trust me to do it. And to be honest with you guys as well, it's also partly down to you that this is a possibility anyway, because, you know, I have the backing of the Joel Create channel. You know, I've done it. I can do these things. I can grow an Instagram account. I can grow a YouTube channel and get it monetized and stuff. All that sort of stuff, you know. So it's good. It's good fun. It's good fun. I love it. Lauren says, loving the nebula eye cloud thing. Those colors go so well together. So if you missed it at the beginning, this is what, let's turn off this stuff. This is what we're trying to aim for. This was what I drew earlier. You can see that those colors there are a lot more yellow and a little bit brighter. And I am definitely thinking that I've gone too narrow with like the coloring. Because in my new one, it's sort of like it's gone almost white. So I feel as if on this like base layer, I could almost like make the hole a little bit larger and let the, there you go, look, there we go. Just sort of blend that outwards a little bit and let the yellow take over and be the base color that I can build the brighter colors on top of. Whoa. I'm also going to get in here and like add in some orange as well with the red. So like some of these beautiful red tones, they look amazing. And that's actually something I need to go back a layer to this one and add in a little bit of red here and there. So just a little bit of red on the outside edges here. But that's exactly what it kind of is, though, to go back to Lauren's sort of point there of like, it is kind of like a galaxy nebula kind of look to it. And I think it's cool. I loved, you'll love it when it comes out tomorrow. Oh, good point, Joel. This week's tutorial is changing day. It's coming out tomorrow. It's just an experiment just to see, you know, if it's, Friday's a very busy place in the Procreate world. There is a lot of content that comes out, so I am experimenting with potentially a Thursday release. So my new tutorial comes out tomorrow, so gear up, get ready, and I think you're gonna love it. I think you're gonna love it. If you were here last week, you kind of will know what it is, but it came out even better than I could imagine. So yeah, I learned a few things in the process of literally doing it, just experimenting. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. The new one is reminding me of a sunrise. Oh, cool. And Rob says, finally set up my Behance profile. It took me 2 days. And Charlie says it right. It's gorgeous. Are you talking about the new tutorial that's coming out? Also, which way's up? Is it this way? Yeah, it was this way. What's up, Jay? I love this, just introducing this red. This was actually Milo's suggestion at the time of introducing a little bit of red in there. Yeah. We're just experimenting with a few things. I'm trying to see how much I can get away with clustering some color and stuff. This will either be available on YouTube next week, which I would imagine, to be honest, it will be, based on my schedule and stuff. So if you do like it, don't say the T word. You know what that will get you in trouble with. But it will, keep an eye out for it next week. But as I said, this week's tutorial is coming out tomorrow. Change of scheduling. So please keep an eye out for it. Let's now go in with some blue on some of these edges here, and we're going to try and be a bit more defined in the shape. I'm also going to run some of those lines through a little bit more as well, you know, like some of these lines. Occasional brighter ones in there. Oh, it's just going to look lovely. I think I'll carry on with sort of these like intricate details and then move into kind of blending them out with additional line work. So just occasionally going over the top of some of these extra ones, letting them all run into each other. I don't want to go too bright. That's my concern at this point. Gonna get ready for work. I'll check in later to see how it turns out. Have a great day. Have a wonderful day yourself. And even though you're working, I'm sure you'll have a lovely day. You're in Australia, aren't you? I remember. I swear you bought a hoodie or a t-shirt. I can't remember which one it was, but you definitely did. Thank you for liking the video, guys. Appreciate it. We hit, what, 51 last week. If we can hit maybe 52, it's not too much of a stretch, is it? We can hit 52, can't we? You can hit the like button down below. It's absolutely free. Does nothing else other than give us our new target and a new goal to hit potentially if we beat last week's. Okay, this is coming together. You can see some of those lovely little like areas on the outside. It's still looking a little bit too... Oh, is that why? Because I crushed it down. Okay. And then also, let's make the brush size at that 2% mark and just get over the top of some of these areas over here. Just additional areas of colour here and there. Getting on top of some of those areas. Get in towards the centre as well. This one's coming out quite differently, and I guess that's the beauty of it in a way, is it's a bit like real life. You know, everybody's eye is going to be different, so each eye we draw is going to look very different. I may even just redo it again on stream and just run through the whole process again. Okay, let's now move to what I would refer to as like the finest details now. So we're going to set this to add, and we're going to get like a 1%, no bigger, and get in here and just like really create some lovely grooving and lines, detail, like the odd sort of streak as well into the center, like on its own. Oh, this is going to look very nice and sort of detailed. This one, very detailed. Can let those lines just run into each other. I don't want it to go too bright too early. Gotta just hold back a little bit. What's up, Leah? How you doing? Oh. Yeah, so just in case anybody's just got it, this week's tutorial comes out tomorrow. Do you know what I think I might experiment with? Is if I go into this base layer here, let's actually just mask it out a second, because I'm thinking that I went a bit too bright potentially with my initial base layer. So I'm thinking I could maybe mask this out. What's happening? What's that? Yeah, on that layer, please. We're going to go to the brush. Oh, it's because the opacity is set low as well. Let's actually just duplicate it. Turn that one off, and we'll just erase from it instead. Luminance Nebula. Okay, that's too strong, but I can be a bit lighter than that. I definitely think I went too bright with it. So now I'm going to go over it and just run in some darker lines. That's going to help increase the contrast a little bit. I may even be a bit bold and going with like a 2%. This is interesting. Definitely going to redo this, I think, and try it again afterwards. What if I just run this very lightly over the whole thing? Like I'll do it on this side. Alright, let's just go back to where we were. Let's carry on. What's up, Nick? How are you doing? Good to see you. I wish I was a love button I wish it was a love button to click, but since there isn't, I clicked the like button. It's so beautiful, Joel. Thanks. You're very welcome, and I appreciate the love and dropping a like on a video. It helps me out a bunch. Helps me out a bunch on all videos. So if you ever get a chance, just in the back of your mind, and you see a tutorial of mine pop up and you just completed it, I would greatly appreciate it if you could just drop a like on it. Lets YouTube know that people do actually care about this video, and maybe we should chuck it out to some other people. Maybe other people will also enjoy it, and therefore the video does better, gets sent out to more potential viewers, and we continue to grow the channel. So you can be a part of that if you can drop a like on any future video. That'd be magic. Early tutorial, yes, an earlier tutorial in terms of it's coming out tomorrow rather than Friday. That's the only difference. So it's an experiment just to gauge a few different things about sort of release times. Friday, as I said sort of earlier, is a very, very busy day in the Procreate content creator space. You guys get tutorials from absolutely everyone. Although people like James leaves it, I believe, to like a Sunday, Monday. But Flo is on a Friday as well. So, you know, it's good to just space it out a bit more. Other people like Saikula, I apologize if I butchered that. Saikula also releases her tutorial on Friday as well. There's other people, Apple Crisp, I think. I can't really remember everybody's schedule, but it hit me the other day and I was like, you know what, there's no harm in just experimenting 1 week, seeing how it goes. Also, that was part of a conversation with me and James as well the other week. Okay, so we started there, and I need to continue the sort of a little bit finer details all the way around here. We'll see how this goes. Not in love with it, but we'll see. I know what this is going to be a problem when I come to do this as a tutorial. I'll end up maybe recording it twice because I'll just be like, nah, you don't like this one, do it again. All right, we'll do it again. But it's one of those tutorials that if you actually crushed it down to like there, the details look great. But at this sort of larger stage, it doesn't look as good. As you know, I'm pretty self-critical at times. Always want it to look a certain way. Especially once you've drawn it once as well. Like you want it to replicate the same effects and everything that you did the first time. It's one of the biggest things I've had to get used to is like when you're creating the content is I draw it and I'll go, oh, do you know what? I love that. Let's turn that into a tutorial. And then I've got to draw it again. And it just doesn't come out the same way, but it's like, just got to get on with it, you know? Just got to get on with it. Leah says, I've been following him on here for a while and I love his style. Is that me or is that James? I can't remember what we were talking about. Leah says, Joel and James were the ones who got me into art. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. And Jay says, this painting seems relaxing for you, Joel. It is pretty. It's pretty relaxing. It's a lot of repetition. And I like a tutorial like this where I've not got like a huge scene as such to fill in lots of little things. It's repeating the same kind of concept over and over again. It's just like I've got to just go round repeating the same formalities basically. Oh, that just looks lovely. It's these bits here. This is where I need to just get my head down and just crack on. It's these little bits here that just bring this whole thing together, and maybe I'll get in there shortly with like even finer details, and it's potentially pointless, but it's all of these tiny little dashes and taps on the screen now with this brush and the color, and all these little dashes and scrapes are just they're tiny little bits in the distance and in the background, and yeah, it just looks great. Also, I've realized I've forgotten a step, which was actually to add some stars in. So we'll add the stars in now before I carry on any further. Let's grab luminance and the light pen, and we'll get adding in some stars because this will also help with the level of detail. It's something I've just spotted I've not actually bothered adding in. What am I like? Adding in an absolute boatload of stars in here. These galaxy sort of designs look so good when there's a lot of stars, and you kind of have to just go way beyond what you probably like want to normally do. You just got to tap away so many times. Lots of tiny little clusters, and then the odd like nice large one in there, like something like that looks great. In the end, I'll also add some shooting stars in here, little drags with this, you know. Jay says, is it a long tutorial or a short one? What, this week coming? I think it's an hour tutorial. All of my tutorials are sort of sitting in that range at the minute. Try have a look. Oh, it's an hour and 4. It's an hour and 4 minutes. Hour and 4 is this week's tutorial. I've got to a stage in this whole sort of Procreate content creator journey where, and I've been in it for a while, but it just every week I reconfirm it. I don't care how long my tutorials take. I want to draw something that I want to draw. You know, I want to get to the point where I'm happy with the design. I'm happy with the amount of detail in it. I'm just happy with it, and that makes me happy. And so I have got to the stage now where if a tutorial is an hour and 10, an hour and 20, 15 minutes, it doesn't really matter. If that's the time it takes, that's the time it takes. And I've said it numerous times, and I apologize if you get fed up of hearing it, but like, it's really tricky to get a lot of stuff done in like a short amount of space and time. You know, like, I don't know how like someone like James, for example, I see some of his tutorials and they can vary up to like the 30-minute mark or around that sort of point, and he packs it in. But I also have this thing where I refuse in a way to speed up the process. Like, this process now is very boring and very repetitive, but I refuse to speed it up. Maybe that's a bad thing. You know, maybe in actual fact I could speed it up, and therefore you guys would look at the video and go, oh, it's a little bit quicker than that. Maybe it's actually 40 minutes rather than 10 minutes, and I cut out all of this point now. But I'm not sure. I quite like the fact that I get to do it in real time. Yeah, I don't know. You can play for the algorithm and stuff like that, but yeah, I'm not really 100% set on doing exactly that. Look at that. Those somebody said it a second ago and I've just gone past it. Those stars make such a difference. What's up, Mayak? Sissy says, I'm with you, Leah. Joel got me interested in it too. I've learned so much from Joel. You're too kind. Rose says it's looking good. Blue Bear says the stars make such a difference. They absolutely do. Maya says, I love the stars, as you know. I love the space themes. Yeah, I've done a lot of landscape stuff lately, and I'm just like, nah, I've got to break away from it. I don't want to get stuck in a box. I don't want people to expect the same thing from me every week. You know, it's just not the type of content I like to make. I want to draw everything and anything, and because I'll always let my ideas run. So like last week doing the galaxy sort of design with the mountains, this week I'm like, I enjoyed that process so much of the galaxy that I'm like, let's do something that's just galaxy based. And then I've come up with the concept with the eye and stuff like that. And so you know, I just like to run with it. If I have a desire to do something, I will do it. I don't give a crap what it does in the algorithm, what it does in on my channel for the catalogue of tutorials and stuff. Apologies if this is actually a little bit too dark. I just realised I left the light off for you. Oh, there you go. So you can kind of make out the edge of the iPad now, rather than sitting in the dark. So yeah, I last week enjoyed it so much. I just want to run with it. So here we are. Okay, let's get back into this center point. Let's grab the nebula and get cracking on there again. So now we've added on all those stars. It's filled out the whole scene. Those stars are beautiful. They really do help a lot. Roro says, I don't care how long a tutorial is. I'll still do it if I like it. Exactly. And like, I kind of have this thought process as well where at the end of the day, if you're going to draw, it kind of then swings in two roundabouts. You know, if I'm willing to sit down and do a tutorial that's like an hour and a bit long, and people think, wow, that's really good, you know, I want to learn how to do that. I think people will actually, you know, bother sitting down and doing it. And also, like, it's free. Does that make sense? Like, if you, in any majority of use cases in life, if you're getting something for free and you're getting more of it, you're a happy person. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're happy with more for free. And if that's what it is on YouTube, then that's what it is. And yeah. Also, at the same time, I want to boost my catalog. You know, I want my catalog of tutorials on my channel to have like a variety of, I was about to say weights to them, not weights, but yeah, skill sets and durations. Jesus, sorry, I'm getting so lost in this. I'm like doing two things. Look how cool this particular section right here looks, where we've got these kind of like almost clouds in behind each other. Beautiful, beautiful. We need to just carry that on everywhere. Bluebird says, I think the art shows the work put into it for sure. And Nick says, Joel, don't change, take your time. You need to enjoy the process as well as trust the process, which, by the way, there's a link for in the description down below if you want to grab your own merch. You can see in the bottom right of the screen, I can never remember what angle it is, down there, the black one. I've got the white one on. There's loads of different colors. There's hoodies, there's jumpers, there's t-shirts, there's cases for your computer and you could use for your iPad. So be sure to check out the store in the description. Treat yourself, join the family of other people who have also bought a Trust the Process. I do have a thought process as well at the minute of maybe going into the store and creating just a Joel Create, you know, rather than Trust the Process. If we spoke about it a little bit a while ago, and maybe get just like a t-shirt setup of sort with just a logo on. Holy smokes, this is looking sick. This is my problem. You have, and someone, I don't know who said it, you have to get through the ugly stage with a design. Sometimes you've got to get through those sort of middle steps and middle ground to get up to these crispy details. And earlier on I said, oh, it's looking a bit too soft for me. And now it's looking lovely and detailed. When you zoom out, these edges look so sick. There's like depth to them, you know? Rob said it, absolutely. Rob's, I apologize. I know I said that a couple of times now and I've not remembered who to credit. So I will do my best in future to remember to credit you, I promise. But you've got to get through the ugly stage, absolutely. And all of these little zigzags and squiggles and sort of ledges and just areas of crispy detail just looks so cool when you zoom all the way out. That looks so cool. Very cool. Thank you, Roro. And thank you, Milo. Is it enough that we can get some more likes on the video? Right, everybody go over to Google, create second accounts, create other YouTube accounts, and then come back in here. I'm going to need you all to get maybe like 5 or 6 YouTube accounts at a time, if you don't mind. And then you can all come in here and like the video, all right? Either that, ring your friends and family, say, listen, there's a man that needs our support. I know you're going to have to do it every Wednesday, but that's not the point, you know? It's good for me, all right? Think of me. Oh, and I'll tell you what, Jay asked the question earlier, is this relaxing? One, it's relaxing because Stream Beats, who you're listening to now, have released this new album. It's called Neon, which is obviously wonderful for me. But it's very, very therapeutic to do this particular one. That looks cool. That looks cool. Now what I'm trying to do now is make my way outside of the center of the eye. Where's my reference photo gone? Yeah, make my way outside of the eye. And also I'm going to have to experiment afterwards once I've done all these sort of curves, because I want it to be a galaxy at the same time. But I also need to go ahead and introduce some of the lines in here, you know, the threads that we were talking about that all lead to the center of the eye. So it's a galaxy that looks like an eye. It could be something from a Marvel film. Oh, who's seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3? I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it. Don't worry, don't freak. Don't turn off. I'm not gonna do it. But what a film. What a belter. Old school vibes. Robs, I promise I won't. Leah says, this platform has been such an enjoyment to me to learn that even with my age, I can still draw and make art with my shaky hands. It was hard before I found digital art, thinking I had to give up. Well, that is wonderful, and I'm glad to be a part, one, of your journey, and two, to also just encourage you to carry on with it. There's different forms of art, and you can pick them up at different periods of your life and go from there and continue then in that direction. But there's always a form that you can do, and obviously with Procreate and its wonderful ability to like the stabilization factors and stuff, it's great. And their slogan themselves is art is for everyone, and that is very, very true. They have done a very good job, and I'm sure you can back me up on that one, Leah, with their tools of helping people with all sorts of different abilities in terms of physical abilities to participate. But again, it's a pleasure to be a part of everyone's journey. It really is. Oh, I love these points on these ones over there, where they start to point off instead. Like they get a little bit more rounded at the top, or pointed, should I say, and just trail off at the back. So let's try and find some areas here where maybe I can just bring into play some of these. Lovely. Let's see if I can maybe grab a colour that sits in the middle of those two. Maybe a bit more. Okay, now it's looking like there's probably a little bit too many around the outside edge. It needs to be more of a thread than a curve. Like there's all these little curves here. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to back out the canvas for a second. I'm going to duplicate it because I really like how this one looks. So I'm going to back out, duplicate it, and then just apply some of the more wild change. Not I say wild changes, but a bit more. They're definitely going in a different direction. So. No, see, Mrs. Crate said the same thing about Ant-Man, and the thing is, like, it's a different universe and stuff, you know. So it is that kind of like a little bit more loopy kind of video. It's like Doctor Strange in the multiverse, you know, like that whole like letting basically like the digital creators go a little bit crazy and stuff with their you know, ideas and thoughts and stuff. And I like it. I do get it though. I think people expect. I think the problem is like we've gone beyond the point now where it's like you can almost just have a movie on Earth and that's it kind of thing. Like Iron Man's and stuff like that. Like that time has almost passed us now, and it's been overdone so much in a way that because we've. And obviously the way that the phase is going, the current phase 5, is it, of the MCU, whichever one it is right now, you know, moving towards the end of like Secret Wars and stuff, like it is it's just not possible really to make those kind of older films that we kind of liked. And maybe it will be after Secret Wars when that comes out, but for the minute, it's definitely like, you know, they're getting really creative with it, and you know, the whole like multiverse and stuff, and yeah, definitely different though. I will give you that. Can you guys see all these like kind of trails that I'm creating now? Creating all these little trails that are just trying to create some swirly lines here and there. I am probably going way over the top with the detail level in this one, to be honest with you. But it looks cool, so I'm very pleased with how it looks. It's creating all these beautiful trail offs. And the threads that I was referring to earlier. So some of them will be a little bit yellow, and then they'll run down into the bluer colours. Christ alive, this is going to take a while. What's up, Luca? Thanks, Void. I appreciate it. Yes, please, if you can drop a like on the video, I'd be really appreciative if you could. Doctor Strange was awesome. How long does it take you on average to make something like this for you? Well, I mean, this one's been an hour. I've been live for an hour and 2, and we did it straight from scratch at the beginning. But so currently an hour, but if I was drawing it myself, I reckon I knock off a good probably a good third off the time. Like, I might just let my brain go and just run with it. I think with like when I'm drawing on my own, it's like I get into like flow state, and like everybody else does, you know what, when you're really enjoying something and you're just cracking on with it, you just lose sense of time, you lose sense of everything, but you are like you are locked in, you know. And yeah, I do get that a lot of the time when I'm drawing for myself. I'm now just going to get in here and maybe just try and introduce the odd little red thread in here. I want this to have a few more threads in here that are of the redder variety. Again, you could use a rotational drawing guide if you want to speed up the process with something like this. But I like the randomness. I like the fact that there's no patterns that I can see. It's not distracting for me. So now I'm just getting in here with lots of crispy little lines that are just helping those. I keep calling them threads, and I will try to find the scientific sort of wording for them, but they just look like lots of tiny threads. Have I gone all the way around yet? Started about there. We almost like need to draw a dot on the screen to like, or on the canvas to remind us of where like we started. But who asked that question actually? Void, because like the thing is, as I said earlier, last week I drew like a galaxy with some mountains, which is coming out on YouTube tomorrow. Like it's I hate to quote him because I hate to sound like I'm trying to be him sometimes, but Bob Ross always says like happy accidents, and like drawing that one, there's lots of things I did in it that were happy accidents, and so from there I've now like got this whole like set of things in my mind that I know I can do, as happy accidents. Do you know what I mean? It's just lots of things that just always just build up in your capabilities. By the way, what I'm doing right now is just then running off of those lines that I created with the red, and now just creating lots and lots more threads off from there, but in the blue tone now. So we are really getting super like thready, and like not just continuing the line once, but creating like multiple threads off of the same one. So I'm just bringing all these lines out closer to the edge of the canvas, and maybe I'll continue on some of the blue ones with some purple shortly as well. But just creating these threads that run from like the yellow there into the blue. We're creating all these beautiful little lines and stuff. Lots of crispy fine details, you know. What you're chatting about? So I got up to Void's question. Roro says, I'm so behind I didn't see the Doctor Strange and all the series in between. Damn. Yeah, Black Panther 2 was pretty heart-wrenching a little bit. I don't like some of the criticism some people gave it, because it you know, saying it was too much of a tribute in a way, and just like, you know, but it's about, it's a very real film, because those people were so connected to one another that the emotions presented are very real. And since I lost my dad, everything like emotional wise of like losing someone, it hits like a mother. Like it hits me hard in the feels. Like it gives me a lump in my throat immediately, and because I know it's a film, right? Don't get me wrong, but you know, getting a little bit deep for a second, I guess, because you can understand what they're going through. You can, I guess, it maybe even re-invokes those sorts of emotions in you, but at the same time, they you can sympathize with that person. You can, you know, understand the story that's trying to be explained, and the emotions being brought across. So yeah, I guess, like, I think people that criticize it and say, you know, they're basically saying that they wanted more action and stuff, and you know, it was maybe too much of just like a constant trip through emotions and stuff. I think that's bullshit. I think it was a great film. Ooh, this eye is looking fine. Roro says, Joel, do you draw and then do a voiceover? No, I do not. So what happens is, my process is like, a design basically gets done 3 times. I'll mock something up. Okay, this is a good example of what we're doing right now. Okay, so this is the one I drew earlier. Okay, look at the level of detail and how much it's changed. This is a concept. I'm very happy with the concept, but this is a concept. And then we go from concept to a refined version, i.e. this beauty. And then we move from this, and then tomorrow I will get my camera out and I'll draw the whole thing again. I'll draw it all again, and I talk as I do it. I don't think you can do a voiceover. I don't think it works. You can't. I think it'd be really messy, and I would have to pause the video and, you know, all that sort of stuff. So I'd have to literally, you know, go back and do it in a very weird way. Before I carry on, Robs, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and yeah, enjoy your sleep, and I'll see you again next week. But yeah, I don't do a voiceover, so I got to draw things 3 times every single time. And again, it gets a little bit frustrating for the point of like, I like this one right now so much that I don't know whether the next one's going to compete with it. Do you know what I mean? It's like all the things you do in this one. I've been drawing it for an hour and experimenting. Maybe when I do it again, it will be quicker. But yeah, it's just like, it's quite a process, you know. But it is, you know, that's just the way it is. Like, I don't know what other people's processes are. You know, some people I know in the space, they draw on like a day and edit it and then get it straight up, whereas I can't just draw something. I like to practice, and I practice it for the sake of then, for the same reason that this concept here at the top, this is why I practice it. I make a concept and then I draw it again and put the time into it so that it turns into something like this. Because then now if I put the first one out, I'd be happy, but it wouldn't be as good as it could be. And now it's better than it could be. So it's better than it was, should I say. So now it's just like, just put the time in to the layers and the work and the little effects here and there, and it will pay off. But yeah, it does get a little bit annoying when you like really like your like more refined version. Then you get to this sort of stage and you get to the recording stage and you go, damn, it doesn't look as good. But to be honest with you, I think when I sometimes sit back afterwards, after a recording session, and go and look at it, I go, do you know what, I actually probably did that area a little bit better, and you know what, I actually probably did that area a little bit better as well. And I go, okay, well, you know, those things are better and those things are worse. It is what it is. But then I actually sometimes have to convince myself, being like, listen, none of your supporters ever saw the one that you drew before. So why are you stressing out, like feeling like disappointed in yourself? Nobody knew what the other version looked like. So just put this one out, you know? And it's kind of like that kind of more real conversation with yourself, being like, you're being stupid. Like, you know, relax. It's not that bad. Everything's good. Right now, by the way, I am just going to town on the threads and the look of the eye here. Just adding in thread after thread after thread. Trying to be quite quick with it so it's nice and random at the same time, like adding in ones that just dart a little bit. This side here now compared to that other side, super crispy, super crispy. What's everybody talking about anyway? Okay, so answered the voiceover one. Milo says those lines give the illusion of a real eye. They actually do. Void says, I like the sound of what's coming tomorrow. You will love it. What's too much of a tribute? Is there such a thing? Exactly. We're talking about Black Panther there. Black Panther 2 was good. Can beat the first one. Oh, but yeah, nothing can beat the first one. Sorry. Rob says, yeah, Rob's went, and I think I'm back up to date. Void says, are you going to be putting anything in the middle? Nope, nothing. It's a galaxy, it's an eye, so in my mind it's maybe like a void. No pun intended. Maybe it's just a black hole, maybe, in the galaxy. No, whatever. I'm not going to be putting anything in the middle now. I think it's fine as it is, and I want it to. The one thing I want with this particular design, I want people to zoom out and go, wow, that eye looks really nice and kind of magical. And when you zoom in on it, you go, all right, shit, this is actually like a nebula. This is a galaxy rather than just an eye. So it's kind of bringing the two into one kind of thing. That's what I want for this particular design. And Milo's absolutely right. Trust the process. I've seen you put it in the chat. I appreciate you doing so. We gotta trust the process always. I'm a sucker for it. I really am. That I don't at times. But we're all human. We're all human. Okay, so I think I just got to get around to there. And I think we're good. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Okay, let's grab the purple and roll the blue out into some purple tones. So I'm going to go back over some of those lines, the ones that are right at the edge, and try to run in some purple, and also try and run some from the outside inwards. So like really run the odd occasional purple stray line that just runs in. Really, really pleased with the colors of this one. And at the end, we're going to go through a few different effects as well, because I did in my practice actually make this have a bit more of a greeny tint to it, and it looked lovely. It looked very, very nice. So we may do the same. There's also something I'm going to run past you guys towards the end as well, which I'm not sure I actually need to do, and I really want to reduce this down. Now we're getting to the point where, like in this particular version, like all these extra additions of all the lines that we're just running round and running round and running round and building up. I want to maybe keep the tutorial as to the point as possible, like not add too many extra things. Like I was going to add like an eyelid and stuff, and there's a few things I want to add towards the end, but I think a few of them are going to actually get booted out. I don't think we need to do everything, you know. That extra bit of purple around the edge looks great. Yes, if you can drop a like on the video, that'd be smashing. Who's still here? Who's hanging out with us? Are you just enjoying the process of this one? Oh, to 30 likes. Get in. Get in. And we've got a Northern Lights style tutorial as well, going live on Tuesday over on Patreon next week. So Northern Lights with mountains, beautiful design, very pleased with it. So if you're enjoying some of my landscape designs at the minute, you may want to come over and join the family over on Patreon. This is looking really great, very pleased. What are we up to? 117 is not too bad. 117 is not too bad. New subscriber Anton, welcome to the channel, my friend. If you're here hanging out with us, I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Music stopped. A lot of these songs have a really long tail off on the end of them. So where did we get to? Got to go all the way around. Definitely think I'll recommend to people to create like a little marker, so you don't end up just going round and round and round and round and round. Lauren says those blue threads look like lightning. I love it. Look at all of them. Loads in there. Also, going back to the sort of process of like, you know, what to draw in that, I'm really enjoying, like, when I find a brush, just cracking on with it, like really enjoying it, really starting to use it, learn more about it. And we spoke about this loads of times, but you know, I like to use a lot of the built-in brushes. There's so many still that I've got to get through, but like, you know, once you find one that you like, just cracking on with it, you know. Okay, I like the center. It could do with a little bit more red, to be honest. I love these little areas of red around the outside. I'm wondering on whether or not I can get away with a colored layer here. So you can set the blend mode to color, pick like the red that you want, and then just see if it makes a difference to coloring over the top of some of these areas here without disrupting the highlights and stuff. But it's making it a little bit darker by the looks of it. It is adding in a little bit of red, but you know, it's really going a bit wild. Okay, I really like that. Very pleased with that. Let me just quickly look at my original one, just to make sure I've not missed anything else. No, I don't think I have. If we go to the original concept here, you see how little amount of detail there is in comparison. Obviously, we've got the eyelash thing at the top here to do. But then we move to this. Look at the difference. That's the concept. That's the new one. Very cool. Very, very cool. What are we up to? 30 likes. I think we're going to struggle this week. I think we get to the old 50 mark. What do you think? Black hole, sunrise, lightning. Amazing. Appreciate it. I really do. Milo says, like the bamboo brush. So versatile. It really is. That's a great brush. Okay, let's now probably move into some of the like extra effects. So I'm just going to take a look at the stencil I made. Okay, that's cool. We'll leave the stencil on for a second. Let's then switch to this color here. Let's then block in a nice big shape, like a nice big highlight at the top here. So we will go ahead and create a block, create an arc. Drag the color in, and then we'll quickly mask it. We'll grab our brush again. We'll go into, say, like inking, studio pen, and we'll create some big flick offs for the eyelashes. So we're now trying to, although it is meant to be a galaxy of sort, we are trying to also at the same time trying to convince someone of both conditions, like it's an eye but it's also a galaxy kind of thing. Well, that'll do. It's not the best, but it'll do. If we get to airbrushing, soft blend that out towards the bottom. That's very cool. See if there's any blend modes there that look nice. Maybe bring in some of the color. What does like a 2 or 3 overlay look like? I think the 2 overlay look really nice. I think we'd have to probably stick it at normal. I'm wondering whether or not we can even gauge and blur this a little bit. Could even make it bigger. Maybe even warp it round. Just to match the curvature of the eye just a little bit. Maybe blend out the edges. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Definitely gives off the impression though, which I quite like. And then I'm thinking we go down here and we do another little sort of beautiful little highlight down here. Or something like that, maybe. Whoa, no, something like this. Blend out the top edge. It's all going to get blurred anyway, but I want that transition there, like that lovely bit of color there, and then maybe gouache and blur it. And even run, say, like a soft airbrush through it and create like a gap in between. It's just some cool extra little things. I think I'll debate whether or not we actually do them in the end. That was the first attempt, so it had that little bit of the eyelashes on the top. That one doesn't look as good, but we'll refine it. We'll refine it. If you were to zoom out on that one. Anybody there? Or you're just watching and chilling? Now what we could do, I don't know if I want to do it. I'll show you what I was going to do initially. this eye here has a great shape to it. So in these layers here, we actually have this layer here, which is like an actual eye shape. I'm wondering if I actually duplicate it. It's part of a photograph. This photograph here, I actually just cut the eye out of the center. And then I'm going to use it. I'm going to drag it into... All stars. Yep. I'm going to drag it into there. It chops off the top and the bottom. Let's just set this to normal. Where's normal go? So then I basically made it black and white, and I changed the shape a little bit. So yeah, if I grab, say, wait, turn that one off. So this is what it could look like inside an eye. What do we think about this? Marquetita. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. What do we think? Do we think it needs the eye bit or not? Also, color-wise, it could probably do with maybe changing a little bit to reflect the colors around it. So, like, for example, I could just turn that off for a second. I could maybe grab that. I'd have to grab everything but it. Oh. Two seconds. Let me just... That, obviously, these highlights now are very, very wrong. Let's try and adjust them. Let's just try that for a sec. Do we think it needs this eye sort of enclosure, or do we just leave it without? I'm partly thinking leave it without and just let it be like a nebula iris and just nothing more. I think that it maybe takes away from it a little bit, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. Jay says, I'm still here watching on my own with 11 dogs who've decided to... It's played 11. Jesus. You like it without? I think I do too. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. So we all thinking without, we think. Without, says Milo as well. Okay. So let's turn that off. And that would be it. Now we could do some cool stuff in here as well. We could add a separate layer on the stars. I think it will be. You know, we could do stuff where we maybe introduce like a shooting star, maybe. Light pen. Yeah, like a little something like that. Don't want it to take away from the eye though, so that's the only thing I'm concerned about, is like start off nice and light and then have a thin trail off. I don't think I like it with that in there. Okay, Milo likes it. I'm not sure. Maybe we'll do like a few across the whole eye. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it just needs like a few. Just run all the way across the eye, all at the same angle. Maybe. I'm not sure about these highlights either. Like, do we think that they're necessary? Like, if I turn them off, do we think that they're necessary? Like, can we just get away with just this rather than with those? They could do with being better, don't get me wrong, I know they could. But with, okay, so with or without the highlights. So with highlights, without. That's another question for you. This is why we do these live streams as well. You guys can get involved. Let me know if I'm wasting my time or I'm not doing enough. I'm not working hard enough. You reckon without? I would somewhat agree, I think. Nick also says without. By the way, when I said I was going to draw this again, that was at the earlier stage, and I'm absolutely no chance of my drawing this again. Not tonight. To me, without, it looks less like an eye. Okay. Cool. Without the highlights, because it looks more pure and punchy. Lauren says without, it doesn't look like an eye much. So maybe the tutorial will be called Nebula Iris, because it resembles an iris more so than an eye. Okay. Is there any way to make the shapes more spherical shape? Yeah, I'll probably mess around with that, I think. I'll tell you what we'll do. Okay, let's do that. Let's just try and redo them, because they were the wrong. They were kind of a quick way of doing it. Well, the more manual way. The better way to do it would be to go to calligraphy, draw a circle, and we'll scale that circle so it matches the sort of sphericalness of the eye. We'll drag the color in, duplicate the layer, we'll then invert it, the top one, and use it as a cookie cutter shape. So we'll cut this center point out that I'm about to make, that, if not a little bit smaller. We'll see what it looks like in a minute with this done. Let's just go to there. Select that, clear it from that layer, delete that layer. Nope, not. Let's duplicate that twice just to have a backup. And then we can scale this down in size and put it wherever we want it around that iris in terms of how big we want it, something like that. And then we can make the cutouts that we want. So for example, I can go ahead and maybe cut out like here, draw it into the center, and maybe we'll draw this one in from this side as well. And then maybe we'll also leave like those dashes at the bottom, so like a little one in here. You draw out from the center so that all these lines match up, and then we can go ahead and just simply draw in. Well, we can go ahead and draw in here in these gaps, select both of those, clear them. Oh no, clear them. Okay, now they match the sphericalness. The illusion have a lot of messages, and I in Nebula. The illustration have a lot of messages. Oh, gotcha. Say sorry guys, I've been in and out on the stream, but I'm back. Good to have you back. Right. Let's mask this out. Now, what did I do with the other? Oh, okay. Let's see what I did. Inking, studio pen, and then from here, this is like our middle point. So that's where the lashes are going to sort of flow out. And what I did initially, like they didn't all go right off the edge. They did crisscross as well. I don't want them to go all the off the edge. So at the minute, I'm just curling a few round from here, and I'll if we rotate that round now, what does that look like? They're probably a little bit too curved. So Calvin, thank you for subscribing. If you're here hanging out, I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. This definitely needs some flipping work on it. I'm going to drive myself nuts if I do this. This particular bit. I was just looking at the screen to see what I like about that one, if I do or do not like it. Mark Huertita says, how do people learn so much about Procreate? Come up with their own ideas on how to draw different styles, etc. It's rocket science to me. To be honest with you, it's just, I don't know how much you draw a week, but when you have to draw as much as I do every single week, it can't help but constantly think of ideas and roll one into the other one. You could have 7 ideas, but only one of them makes it to a tutorial or the final product. I actually have done a tutorial recently, which if you are a patron and you're on Discord, you will already be able to see it in the behind the scenes part of my Discord of a design that took me like 7 iterations to get right. 7 iterations, I think it was. Yeah. Lowering the opacity is definitely better, for sure. It's the eyelashes. I've just cocked them up. They just don't look as good. Like if I was to take a look at the first ones I did, for example, I'm not considering, and I wasn't really doing it correctly, the flicks off at either side, and then they kind of get a little bit more head on, and then they kind of flick away on the right hand side. Mine there's too many of them. They're too tightly packed. Arguably the highlight isn't big enough either, so that's a note to self. Where we cut those rings out, for example, it's not big enough. So I'll tell you what we'll do is we'll redo it. I'm not gonna stress about it too much more, but I'm gonna try and get it right. We'll thicken up the highlight, and then we'll make it smaller again so it covers the eye. We'll cut out what we don't want, which is going to be, I think I can just use the soft airbrush. Oh no, let's do it same way I did it before. Let's grab the soft airbrush actually. Run that out from here to here. Run that out to here. We'll create a fairly large highlight, fairly wide highlight, like out to here. And then we'll erase all of this in here. Whoa. Maybe no lashes. Yeah, I think the only thing with the lashes is like it feels it's like an extra level, I would say, of the immersion almost of it. So I want to try and get the eyelashes right, but you're right. I mean, if it comes down to it, I'll just get rid. It's like here as well now. Now these look a lot better because they have multiple direction to them. Again, there's probably too many of them, if I'm honest. There's probably too many of them. Now, Milo, you're too kind. You're too kind. But that's not me, that's you learning. You've not just done my tutorials either. You've done loads of people's tutorials. So there's lots of people that can help you along the way. This is also a factor that looked better in the first one. I kind of like drew a line straight across with the eraser, and I think that looks better rather than leaving the chunky sides on it. This highlight here, obviously we also need to lower the opacity down anyway of the layer, probably drop it down to about sort of 60%. That looks lovely. And maybe this one down here at the bottom, we just sort of just fade out like a little bit like that. And then that kind of gives us that eyeball kind of look to it maybe. What if we boost this back up to 100%? Just roll through those blend modes one more time. Lighter color. Hard light looks pretty good. It introduces a little bit more of the color through. I know what you're saying about the lashes, but I feel like it adds that extra level of immersion to it. But you might be right. I think they just look crap. That's what it is, to be honest with you. I think they just need fixing. They just need fixing. The first ones look better. The first ones I did look so much better. These lashes, they look far better. Oh, there's also hang on, there's also a fade out at the bottom as well, which I've not done. Like that. And a little one here as well, just fading out the bottom. Trying to leave that shape there, just a little bit of that shape, but blend it out. That looks better. That looks way better. That's way better. Way better. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Milo, I hear you. I really do. It's like, to me, it's that one thing that may make someone go, oh, that's really, it's kind of the merge of the two that maybe like on a thumbnail would. I always have to think of something that's a bit more than beyond just the piece itself. So, Safta, how's it going? Oh, Safta. You said the T word. You said the T word. Oh, everybody spam the T's in the chat. Everybody spam them T's in the chat. Damn. Safta, what you doing? Okay. I believe it's your first time here in the chat, so I'll let you off. But the T word is banned in this chat. You cannot say it. So if it becomes a tutorial at some point, who knows? No, but if I'm honest, it's coming out probably next Friday. But in reality, you can't ask that question. We banned it. Long story short, there was a person that was extremely rude to me once and was just like, bang, tutorial, that was it. And so I kind of said, right, I'm not letting people say it anymore. If I decide to draw something and it comes out as a tutorial, it comes out as a tutorial. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But truth be told, after a lot of the tutorials, they end up coming out as a lot of the live streams. They always come out as tutorials anyway, like a week or maybe 2, or sometimes Patreon ones are a little bit further ahead because there's so many. But yeah. Okay, this is that thing I was saying at the end of what I ended up doing earlier. Copy, or the standard procedure that we always like try to check other things. This one looks sick. If I go to hue, saturation, and brightness, so the minute we've got very teal, purple with a yellowy orange. If we drop this just 5% down to 45%, we get this beautiful green. The outside edge is turned to blue. The inside is turned to orange. And I just think that looks amazing. Like, so 50, I'm happy with mine, but if you drop it that little bit down to 47 or something, a bit more green in there. If we drop it even further, you can go into real greens, and obviously, if someone does have green eyes, that's fine. They can do that. I'll show them. Maybe like not drop the brightness, I would say, but you probably have to mess around with the saturation a little bit to tweak that. We can run all the way round to. Didn't mean to do that. Didn't even know you could do that. Very cool. Whatever. Save that. So we can run into like here where we get into a little bit more of like these red, but the center's blue. So it looks a little bit crazy. You can make some really wild stuff. The pink looks sick. That's like, I love that because it's the teal and pink kind of colors, but it's the opposite way around almost to what I'm doing right now. Green and purple looks crazy, but we get more into like the real colors over here, and that's 50%. I'm so happy with that, but that's with the saturation cranked right up, which you can do. I did not mind that. I didn't mind it up here at about sort of, to be honest, even up to 90% looks pretty cool. Super bright, super punchy, very colorful. That's probably a little bit more eye-catching, no pun intended, for someone to click on this as a tutorial. So maybe I'll boost it in the thumbnail maybe a little bit. 50 looks, I like it. 50 looks a bit more real, but boosting that saturation up looks crazy cool. I would probably do that right at the very end of the tutorial. I'll probably boost it that little extra bit, I think. But yeah, dropping it down, maybe even just like 47%, boost that a tiny bit, and we end up with a very different looking variation. Like, I would say like that little bit of green in there, that boost of green from the center looks wicked. And I'm also wondering whether or not we could maybe set this to like, I wonder if you could use a gradient map on here actually. Oh, that's very cool. Okay, let's go to the beginning. Yeah, you could use something like that. You could change the color though. That looks cool. It's a little bit trippy on the camera. It's also very crazy. And that one's just a straight up gradient, so I think I could literally just change that to a singular color. Maybe change it to like green or any of the other colors in the palette, or any color. That's interesting. Wow, that is wild. That's crazy. Can I do? Yes, I can duplicate that. If I was to set that color to black, Jesus, that is a fiery eye. Oh, it definitely takes away the detail. I just like looking at the variations on what you could go with. Take it down a different route. But the final product tonight has been very, very sweet. Very, very sweet. Super happy with that. Super happy with that. Very nice. I think there could be something said maybe for bringing that shape in that I was initially thinking of doing, which is from up here, but just make it a solid color and not mess around with it. So grab this. So what I was saying earlier about like the frame earlier, So this, rather than have the eye like this, I think maybe just simply, I think I duplicated the layer and maybe even set it to multiply, so it's super, super dark. Could do that, but I could also maybe just simply alpha lock that, set that to black, and then maybe just Gaussian blur it just a little bit. Oh. This one actually, I want to kind of change the shape of the eye a little bit. I think that maybe just adds like a little bit of framing. But then I'm rolling down the route of the eye rather than the like a galaxy iris. We'll roll with this. I'm not going to change it. Only changes I will make when I come to do it is maybe try and introduce a little bit more of the red tones in the center. Try and really go for them. Also, one thing I could do, I'm getting into like finer details now, or like, I say finer details, just like unnecessary details. I'm going to duplicate it quickly, go in and change a few things where I spotted in the reference photo here. You see some of these darker grooves here. I'm wondering whether or not I can get away with maybe just going in there and just getting rid of some of the darker tones in behind some of the grooves that I've made. So if I actually go ahead and find the layer that's a culprit, which I think is this one here, I'm wondering if I can add a mask to this, and I'm going to go maybe soft airbrush and maybe just see what I can do about creating either layers of separation between these and then just like letting that blend out, maybe reduce the opacity down. Maybe just getting up in behind the occasional one there to create some additional layers of depth by just erasing from in here. These are just totally unnecessary details, but could look that little bit extra. I'm just gonna erase from just the top edge, I think, of some of those lighter areas. It does add a little bit extra in terms of depth and stuff, but we'll see what it looks like in the end. Thank you, Lauren, I appreciate it. No, I don't think that's necessary. I think that takes away from it too much. Maybe if you Gaussian blurred it, took it down a few pegs maybe. What the heck? A little bit looks quite nice, but I'm not sure it's a necessary requirement, to be honest with you. Why will you not stay down on the iPad? What's up, Marie? How's it going? Just about made it in time for sign off. Just about. How's life? What's new with you? Are you still making videos? I can't say I've been on my YouTube in terms of like the Joel Crate channel or account, should I say, like browsing content for quite a while now. Yeah, we all miss you, Marie. It's been a while. You have a beautiful silver badge. Beautiful silver badge. You're on the road towards the gold one. Resting my life or resetting? I'm guessing you mean resting, because that's what you wrote. How many likes are we on, guys? How many likes are we on? We're at 34. We're not going to make the 50 51 mark, but it's a valiant effort still. 34 today. Right, guys, please remember that my next YouTube tutorial comes out tomorrow. It does not come out on Friday. It comes out tomorrow. Just a little change of plan. It will be 3 o'clock, so roughly Eastern time is 10. Eastern time is 10. I think it is for you guys. I tell you what, since doing YouTube and stuff, I try to remember like time zones and stuff for so many places, which I never normally have to do, and I find it a bit of a pet. I struggle with trying to remember where they all are sometimes and what they all mean essentially, and like what Eastern time even means to somebody in the States. You guys completely understand it, but you know, it's stuck on 17. Oh, the likes, you mean? But yeah, remembering like time zones and stuff for you guys in the States at the same time. So yeah, we're going to change it up. We're going to change it up this week. We've got a beautiful tutorial going live tomorrow. The mountains with the nebula design. It looks so cool. Look at the eyelash shadow. This is amazing. I appreciate it, Maria. I appreciate it. I'm glad you can tell, one, it's an eye. And also that they are eyelashes. So that's cool. That's a good point. And look, my little sleep warning popped up. So we are going to wrap it. It's 10 o'clock over here. I'm going to wrap it. Awesome stream. So again, I'll just show you the like how progression and like, you know, how we repeat in your work. Like that was the initial version. That was the initial concept. Super kind of fuzzy a little bit, but the idea was there. The whole works just needed a little bit of extra work, and we refined it, whatever, to this bad boy. All these beautiful little lines in there, beautiful streaks and just breakouts from the eye. Very cool, very, very cool. As always, guys, I really do appreciate you all hanging out with me on your Wednesdays, whether or not you're at work, getting ready for work, whatever, wherever you are in the world. I really appreciate you coming and hanging out. Tutorial goes live tomorrow. Mountains with a nebula design in the sky. It's sick. You're gonna love it. Hour long, but it's good fun. And please come and just join in with the Discord. Come and share all your creations. They don't have to be my tutorials. They can be absolutely anything that you're working on. I don't mind at all. Come and join the Discord. It's completely free. And if you're not a patron, which I believe pretty much everyone is here, you can come and get access to over 70 tutorials when you come and join now. 71 in total. On Tuesday will be number 72. And that's it. Keep an eye out for this one. This one will probably be out like next week, I would imagine. Julie says, thank you for all your tutorials. Cheers from Canada. I appreciate the love. And I'll be over in Canada in August, September. I can't wait. So thank you so much for hanging out. If you're new here, we do these live streams every Wednesday. So come and hang out with us again next week. For you guys, it's 3 o'clock Eastern time, and then I don't know about the rest of you. So sorry, you'll have to work it out. Kevin, good to see you, my friend. Sorry you didn't contribute much of time about working. It's all good, my friend. I appreciate you just boosting the numbers and just having a good old listen along. And yeah, keep an eye out for tomorrow's tutorial. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it. And we'll see each other again next Wednesday. Thank you so much for hanging out. I love you all very, very much. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week. Peace.